We support Bernie Sanders because he is the only one saying things that we think are right on.
He just seems to be a straight shooter. He's honest.
He is just blatantly truthful.
I am supporting Bernie primarily because he just is a straight shooter.
He really cares about real people.
He's a person who is working towards positive change in the world.
Things have not been going right in our country.
I feel like it's all a big Hollywood blockbuster pony show, our democracy.
If we want to get our democracy back, we have to get somebody in there that's actually going to do something.
He's very honest, he's very sincere, and he's just consistent in what he says. And it transcends political parties, I believe. It transcends political parties. And it's just a dialogue that I think I, as an American, and I'm sure millions of other people, are starving to hear, and yet it's totally omitted from the national dialogue and debate and popular media.
He comes from this place of a reality that I would like to see in our world right now because of the extreme conservatism of the Republican Party, which is definitely very upsetting to me and really scary that we could be even considering having these people as leaders. And he is real, and I think he really cares about real people.
Bernie would be a huge change, but I just, after Obama, the hope and change that I believed in from Obama, I feel like it's all a big Hollywood blockbuster pony show, our democracy.
If you look at his record, it's not just talk, and it's not just maybe he'll do this or maybe he won't. I mean, he's been doing it for, what is it, like he's on his second term in the Senate and it was 16 years in the Congress?
I used to be a Republican. In fact, I'm a farmer, and lots of farmers are Republicans. But I guess I'm a staunch Democrat now because the Republicans have disappointed me. And but if Bernie were running as a Republican, from what I've heard him say, I'd vote for him anyway.
I would say that one of the most pressing issues faced by politicians, by business people, and by just everyday citizens of the United States right now is climate change, is global warming. The weather is getting more extreme every year. We are in the midst of a heat spell and a drought right now here on Vashon, and this is a very important issue, and we need to find new and creative solutions. And I think that Bernie Sanders is the closest candidate that would provide a shade tree for that sort of thing.
I want somebody to be my president who's a real person and who feels as strongly about this country becoming again a democracy as I do.
Well, the issues I'm most concerned about is the corporate takeover of our government. I don't feel like we have a government anymore. Honestly, they should be wearing tracksuits with the patches of who they work for, Goldman Sachs, you know, because we don't have a government anymore.
Overturn Citizen United. We need to get corporate money out of politics.
We have many serious problems, and I think that our old capitalistic system is not going to work. We need to have a more democratic, up to this time it's been a dirty word, socialism, but I think we need a more democratic socialism in our country.
I just don't think that our medical system is delivering valid services to people. It's making insurance companies wealthy at the expense of good basic human care. And I think Bernie is a pretty big proponent of the single-payer health system, and that is also phenomenal.
Yes.
That's just like what we have to do. It seems like a no-brainer.
School tuition is our biggest issue that he is actually addressing right now, that Bernie Sanders is addressing. Because right now what happens, you go to school, you pretty much have to pay an arm and a leg to get an education for like one semester. For one semester, and whether or not you get it, you still have to pay another arm and a leg for the next 30 years. That's what we're doing right now. We're doing $48,000 each that we're paying back in school loans.
Tax reform and the issues that the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes, which I see in our own state here in Washington as well as in the countries. There's got to be a more even ground. So I think that all of our budget problems could be really balanced a lot better if we just balance by, you know, making those who have the money pay their fair share.
I think he's a refreshing addition to the political scene, and I'm really enthusiastic. I already spent money. I already contributed money today for his campaign. I generally don't do much of that. I'm pretty cheap.
I would love more than anything to believe in Bernie Sanders and to see him get elected and actually change things. I mean, for what, the first time in how many years?
Some people say that they don't think he can win, but I think the momentum is building. There's enough people that really want to have a change that are disenchanted with the status quo, Republican or Democrat.
The status quo can't continue, and people have to realize that in their hearts that we don't want a government that's legislated by big money. People have to care that and want a democracy and realize what a democracy is and realize that right now we're slipping down, we've already slid down a really slippery slope. And if we want to get our democracy back, we have to get somebody in there that's actually going to do something.
If there's anything that he can do to actually improve his chances of winning or so on, well, I guess it would be to actually try and connect with the majority of people he says did not vote in the last election.
Bernie Sanders picks up Jill Stein as a running mate, I will be reborn, and I will be out there fighting for it and voting again this year, or voting this time.
He's energetic. I think he's got good people behind him, and he just has to be out there.
All those people that say that Bernie can't win because X, Y, and Z, I have one thing to say.
And of course he can win. He just get his message out there so people can hear what he's saying. Everything he says has to resonate with almost everybody except for the 1%. You know, the people that think they can buy this election, yeah, they're not going to like what he says, but I think the other 99.9% of us, what he says is right on. It speaks to us as individuals and as caring, empathetic people that believe in America and American values.
I don't know if Bernie Sanders can win or not, but whether or not he wins this year, whether or not he ever wins, this will have impacts and repercussions down the years ahead.
Yay!
Go Bernie.
You guys look fabulous.
Thank you.
You go a little to him. Yeah, okay, that's good. Sweet. Okay, I'm definitely rolling.
Oh, good.